Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're re-diving into the extraordinary life of one of the most charismatic and adventurous entrepreneurs of our time, Sir Richard Branson. From a high school dropout to a billionaire knight, his journey is anything but ordinary. It's a story of dyslexia, determination, and a whole lot of daring. So, how did it all begin? It wasn't in a fancy business school, that's for sure. Branson's entrepreneurial spirit ignited when he was just a teenager. At 16, he dropped out of school to start a magazine called Student. This wasn't just some small school paper. He was interviewing rock stars and politicians. The magazine was his first taste of the business world, teaching him the ropes of marketing and management from the ground up. It was a risky move, but, as we'll see, risk is a central theme in Branson's life. From publishing, he pivoted to music. Spotting a gap in the market for discounted records, he launched a mail-order record business. This small venture soon grew into his very first record store on Oxford Street in London, which he named Virgin. Why Virgin? Because they were all complete virgins at business. It was a playful, rebellious name that perfectly captured the spirit of his new company. This little record shop was the seed from which the massive Virgin Group would grow. The next logical step, a record label. In 1972, Virgin Records was born. Branson had an incredible ear for talent and a willingness to take chances on artists that other labels would untouch. His first major signing was a little-known artist named Mike Oldfield. The album Tubular Bells became a global sensation, selling millions of copies and putting Virgin Records on the map. It was a massive gamble that paid off spectacularly, funding the label's expansion and allowing Branson to sign iconic, rule-breaking acts like the Sex Pistols. He wasn't just selling music, he was shaping culture. But Branson's ambition couldn't be contained by the music industry alone. In the 1980s, he looked to the skies. He was frustrated with the poor service and high prices of existing airlines. His thought, I can do this better. In 1984, with just one leased Boeing 747, Virgin Atlantic Airways was launched. People thought he was crazy to take on a giant like British Airways. It was a David versus Goliath battle. The airline industry was cutthroat, but Branson's focus on fun, customer service, and a bit of rock and roll flair made Virgin Atlantic an instant hit with travelers. Of course, it wasn't all smooth flying. The Dirty Tricks campaign by British Airways in the early 90s was a brutal attempt to put Virgin Atlantic out of business. It was a stressful, make-or-break period. But Branson fought back, won a landmark libel case, and famously distributed the settlement money to all his staff. He called it the BA bonus. It was a classic Branson move, turning a crisis into a public relations victory and a testament to his loyalty to his team. As the Virgin Empire grew, it branched out into an incredible array of industries. From trains and mobile phones to finance and hotels, the Virgin brand seemed to be everywhere. The core philosophy remained the same: find a stuffy, established industry, and disrupt it with better service and a customer-first attitude. Not every venture was a home run, of course. There were failures, like Virgin Cola and Virgin Brides, but Branson famously embraces failure as a learning opportunity, not a reason to stop trying. Beyond business, Branson is renowned for his love of adventure. This isn't just a hobby, it's part of his DNA. He's crossed the Atlantic and the Pacific in a hot air balloon, setting world records along the way. These weren't just publicity stunts. They were genuine, life-threatening expeditions that pushed the limits of human endurance. These adventures reinforced his public image as a daredevil, but they also reflected his personal philosophy. Life is for living, and you should push your own boundaries. This thirst for pushing boundaries led to his most ambitious project yet: space. In 2004, he founded Virgin Galactic with the goal of making space tourism a reality. For years, it seemed like a distant dream, fraught with technical challenges and tragic setbacks. Many doubted it would ever happen, but Branson's persistence never wavered. And in July 2021, he finally achieved his lifelong dream, flying to the edge of space aboard his own spaceship, Unity 22. It was a landmark moment, not just for him, but for the future of commercial space travel. So, what can we learn from the incredible journey of Sir Richard Branson? First, don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. If you see an industry that's doing things badly, you have an opportunity. Second, your brand is everything. The Virgin brand is built on fun, value, and a touch of rebellion, and it's been a key to his success. Third, embrace risk and don't be afraid of failure. Branson has said, you don't learn to walk by following rules, you learn by doing, and by falling over. Finally, Have fun. Branson's infectious enthusiasm shows that you can build a global empire without losing your sense of humor and adventure. His story is a powerful reminder that with a big idea, a lot of nerve, and a customer-centric approach, you can change the world. From a student magazine to the stars, Richard Branson has truly lived a life less ordinary. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the world's most fascinating people. Let me know in the comments who you'd like me to cover next. See you in the next video.